my light source is just coming straight from the side, right? All right, so I'm going to start just up and down, right? I'm going to start heavy on this edge, and then as I'm pulling towards center, I get lighter and lighter, right? Lighter and lighter, and basically to about here, center is pretty much where it's going to end. You know, you can have a little bit of tones coming up onto the right of center, but not much, right? Because your light, you know, cylinder is rounded, right? So just like the sphere, you know, except now your light source is hitting here and it's going around to the backside too. Okay. So the left, far left is dark. And then as I'm pulling the center, I'm getting lighter and lighter. And it's straight up and down, right? You know, you can put in that arc, right? But as you're getting to the vertical center, then you want to be going straight horizontal lines, okay? All right, so I follow that arc. Well, actually, as I'm going up, it just stays with that arc. My apologies, because the top here is curved too on that same arc. All right, so and I'm not going to make any corrections because I did it so light. You know, I just go over again. You know, and those straight lines, they're gone. You know, they've just blended in, right? But now I've got to here, okay? Just a little bit past center, just a little light, right? Nothing too heavy at all, okay? I'm gonna double back. Boom, there you go. All right, let's move over to the H. Once again, furthest edge from the light source, hit it hard, right? The top curved edge of the cylinder, you know, you're gonna match that left edge, but then you're gonna go lighter as you get to center, right? Same thing with the bottom. I'm gonna go lighter, just a little bit lighter. You're still gonna have some darkness because it is still hitting ground there, right? But on the top here, it's a little different. Now, the cylinder, the back side of the top edge, you know, that's where you're gonna get dark, and you're gonna pull it past center, okay? Still keep a fair amount of pressure, but here, because your light's also coming this direction and this direction, right? So it's going from side to side, top and bottom, okay? Now, so you go a little lighter as you get to the far right edge, right? All right. Let's do the B pencil, right? Let's really define that edge, okay? Define that edge, define that edge. Find that edge. Okay, there. Get a little lighter, light there. All right, and then once again up and down. And then right about to there. Now maybe a third of the way in. Right, I'm getting lighter, and I'm just gonna let it be there. I gotta come back with the H pencil because I didn't get the vertical side. So I want to make sure I'm extending out, coming to center. And I'm going to stop just before I get to center. I'm going to go back to the left side, put more pressure. Okay. All right. "4B, hit the left edge, good and hard, have a good defined edge to it. Same thing with the top, right? Good defined edge, lightening it up as I'm getting closer to the light source. Bottom edge, lightening it, not going all the way to the opposite side, right? With the soft lead, okay? make sure that I'm starting to see that roundness to the cylinder. And as I get, so I'm only going to go maybe a quarter of the way with the 4B. You know, definitely get lighter as you're pulling away from that left side edge. Right? Find it a little more. Okay. Boom, there you go. Now, I made it kind of fat there. I'm not worried about that because I'm going to put drop shadow in, right? So I'm just going to leave that be. All right. So the top of the cylinder. Let's go back to the 4H. So I want to do these two different, right? Top of the cylinder, you're going to create that arc, right? Basically a half circle, okay? And you can also come in at an angle, diagonal, right? If you're going to do that, you just got to make sure that you're going lightly, okay? And I'm not even going to barely touch when I get to the right side of the top. Okay. Now, the top of the cylinder is going to be a little darker than the side of the cylinder, simply because the light source, you know, is coming from the side, right? And the top is above where my light source is. If that makes sense. So, you know, you're not shading in the right side of the cylinder because the light's coming in, and you know, and you have that curve, right? But the top of the cylinder is a flat surface, right? And it's above your light source. So there will be shadows running the whole surface of the top, right? But as you get close to the light source, then the lighter it's going to be. So you just lessen your pressure, right? Now let's go to the H pencil, okay? Now once again, you know, I'm just going to hit that. Do the same angle, okay? And I'm going to stay centered, veering away from the edge, right? So when I get to my halfway mark, right, on the top of the cylinder, I'm going to start pulling away from the edge, okay? Because the light's hitting this surface here, and it's going to be hitting the backside there, right? So I'm going to pull away from the edge when I get to past the halfway mark on the top, right? So you got to think of the three-dimensionality of your object, you know, what the light's doing. And like I said, if you get, you know, you have a cylinder at home, you know, put a light source directly to the side and just look at what the shadow's doing and what the light's doing, you know, and then just start rendering from there, right? Same deal with the B, except now from the B, I'm going to pull it in from the sides a little sooner, right? And I'm not even going to go to the far edge, okay? Going to cut it to where I think it needs to stop. All right. We define that edge a little more. Define that edge a little more. All right. I'm going to come down, fill in the page a little more on the far left side. Make sure I got a good dark tone. Fill in that paper. All right. Going to come in a different angle. Match that arc. So like I said, you know, you come in at different angles with the pencil, it's going to fill in the paper better, right? Okay. So then lastly, we'll go back with the 4B. I'm not going to do super hard. I'm barely even going to put any of it on the top of the cylinder. I'm just going to go and match the amount of distance I put on the left side, far left side of the vertical. All right. There. Then I'll come back with the H on the top. I'll just run over it again just to give it some nice gradation. You know, so it doesn't look all sectional. And there you have it. Okay, and just take the H. We'll just throw in a drop shadow. So a drop shadow basically just gonna be, straight line here, straight line behind it, right? And then I'd run it to where I think the top would end. Since it's coming in from the side, you're gonna have a pretty long shadow, right? So it actually come out to around here, okay? But I'm not gonna throw it that far, right? But the same deal, right? Now this you can just do horizontal, left to right, right? With your drop shadow. We'll grab that eraser real fast just to make sure it's a nice clean looking line. Okay. Brush. Boom. You don't want to blow on your page either, because you might get a little spittle on it, And then if you're working on a finished piece for a client, and you get a little some bubbles of spit on your illustration, it's gonna ruin it. Believe it or not, little water droplets on the page or on the illustration board, cold press, yep, you're gonna ruin it. So always use a brush. Okay, then I'll come back. Now, I don't want to really come back with the 4H, or excuse me, the 4B doing the drop shadow, right? I'm just going to go a little higher with the 2B around there. Then I'm going to keep it center. I'm not going to go edge to edge, right? Just going to pull it out. And as I'm pulling away from the cylinder, then I get lighter and lighter, like everything else. Right, but I am going to have a nice gradation from side to side. Okay. So yeah, and I don't need to use the 4B because I already had a fat line going on with when I was doing the bottom edge of the cylinder. Right. Clean that edge up a little more. Give it a little more. I'm using the 2B. I'm just going to give it a little more gradation. Make sure. Alright, there you go. There's a cylinder. Alright, so these are your 4 basic shapes. These are your drop shadows. I just turned everything into 3 dimensions. Alright, okay. Let's move on real fast. Let's talk about, change the page. Start fresh. Alright. Let's talk about blind contour drawing. So blind contour drawing is, a contour drawing is a single line. One line, you never pull the pencil off the page, right? A blind contour drawing is you're looking at the object the whole time. You do not look at your page. This is a great exercise to work on your connection between your hands and what you're looking at, what your mind's looking at, right? This is just an exercise, helps to get the creativity flowing. It's actually can be a good demand for blind contours. There's plenty of artists that sell blind contour drawings, and do pretty well with that, right? It is a specific style that does have a following or a market for, but generally speaking, it's just to open up, your hands to just let them flow, right? So when I find a point I want to start on, right? Composition wise, depending on your object and that sort of thing, depending on where you want to set it on the page, right? So I'm gonna just start on the top, and then once again I'm just gonna look at. 2B. Yeah, they'll give you dark enough lines. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the object and kind of just feel for the flow, right? And just kind of work around the edges, kind of looking at, trying to make it go what I'm looking at, right? There's the meter gauge. I'm not looking at the object, or not looking at the page at all. Okay, and I'm just trying to stick with one line and show everything that's on the object. right? It's just a lot of fun, and you can time yourself too, right? If you want to add like shadow in there, you just throw a bunch of lines in, give that feel of curvature, right? But it's all one single line, and get up on top, and you're just playing around. You're looking at the object and everything, and you're just throwing a single line on the page, and you can really get involved with shadows if you want, but you want to make them quick and gesturally, and everything like that, right? And that's it. Well, I was way off. so that's so that's a blind contour drawing. I'm gonna put my name on that one. That's a blind contour drawing. That's funny. I haven't done one of these in years. So, anyways, it started off good, right? I got the handle in there and everything, and I came down and I started messing around with the clip there, and then I brought it down, and all that was good. And I was just throwing in a little shadow, and then I just completely shorted the whole left side of the can, right? And everything just got all bunched up like a bowl of spaghetti. It's good. It's good stuff. All right. Now I'm going to show you a contour drawing. So a contour drawing is basically just like a blind contour, but every once in a while you get to look at the page, right? So maybe every 5 seconds, or 3 seconds, you're going to look down the page and see where your pencil's at, and just kind of follow through, right? Once again, this is a great exercise, blind contour is just to get that gesturally feel, to really open up, your creative processing and everything like that, and just having fun, especially when you look at it, and then your contour drawing, once again, it's a single line, right? But now you're going to have more of a connection with your object and the page visually, right? So now you're working on just practicing, doing some eye training, more or less, right? All right, so again, I'm going to start, and then I'm going to look down, and then I'm going to look back at the object, and then I'm going to look down, and then I'm going to look back at the object, and then I'll look down, okay, then I'm going to look back down, and then the object, back down, up the object, and then back down, and at the object, and then down at the object, right? And I could throw this in there, why not? And then back at the object, then I'm going to look down, and back at the object, then I'm going to look down, then back at the object, right? Just back and forth, right? Okay, so there, right? That's a contour drawing, okay? Now, if I wanted to, keep my pencil on the paper, and I can do all kinds of things, up and down, all that good stuff, showing dimensionality, you're just playing around with the single line, right? You can get really into, that specific angle and all that stuff, right? That's all you're doing, just playing with a single line and just opening it up to the creative process. I'll go ahead and throw my name on that. All right, let's move on. Perspective drawing, right? Now these are all just simple, the blind contour and contour are just simple things to do. There's people that do it on large pieces of paper, and they go all over the place and just go to town with it. It is, like I said, it's a very creative style of art. There is a market for it. It's gallery work. You see them in exhibits, and it's a style that's been around for centuries, really. But I'm more or less assuming that part, but it's been around for a long time. Okay, and there are specific artists that are very well known for doing contour work. Okay, because it's that's part of the art world, right? People that love art, right? They love specific types of art, okay? And there is an audience for, contour drawings and stuff like that, and that's more appropriate terms, audience, right? market, you know, that's more of a business part of it. But you know, when we're talking about art and enjoying art and expression and everything, you know, there's creators and there's the audience, you know, and there you have it. All right, so let's get on to perspective drawing. So you have single point perspective. All right, so here's my horizon, right? Okay, single point perspective, boom, it's either going to be up high or down low, all right? And I'm going to create basically a square, okay? All right, now, let's say my point is going to be here, right? All right, so my square becomes a cube, right? All my lines are going to go to that point, okay? The best way to explain this is, let's start over. Here's my horizon line, right? Everybody's seen railroad tracks. Everybody's stood on railroad tracks. If you haven't, go stand on railroad tracks or go stand in the middle of a road. The edges of a road are all going to lead to a central point. Just like railroad tracks, they're all going to lead to a central point, right? And then everything else is just going to fall in a horizontal plane. That is single point perspective, okay? If you really want to get involved with it, you know, if you're especially doing architectural design and stuff, you're going to get your ruler, you know, and you're going to make nice straight lines, right? You're going to have them spaced out properly, all that good stuff, right? Then you put your cross beams, you know, you have your vertical lines, okay, boom, boom, okay, then boom. Now, here's the thing. Telephone poles, once again, they're going to follow to that line. The top of the poles are going to follow to that point. There is a line there, right? So it doesn't have to be solid rails, you know. It is the top and bottom surfaces of objects. So here and here and here, they're all going to follow to that point, right? I'm being a little freehand with it. You know, if I wanted to get really defined with it, you know, I take the ruler, there's a bottom, bam, there's a bottom, bam, there's a bottom, right? And then we have, we'll be proper about it, okay? You're gonna have the cross parts, you know, these poles. Right, they're gonna all meet to that point. So, and then you just draw your cable lines, you know, and if you really want to get involved with it, even the cable lines, right? The bottom of those lines are still gonna create one single angle, right? So, you know, when you're doing all these reference angles, you want to get yourself, you know, a really hard pencil, really hard lead pencil, right? And do them nice and soft so we can go back and erase those reference lines later, okay? But you understand the gist of it, right? Every point, if it's not a vertical, it's gonna run to that single perspective point, right? Or every angle, every horizontal, or not every horizontal, but every diagonal line that's being made, you know, whether it's the invisible one, really, where it's just the top of the poles, right, that are hidden to that point, or if, you know, if you have the rails, right, let's say we got a house here, okay, and or a building, so boom, you got to follow that angle there, right? And then this side is going to be horizontal, okay, and then this is vertical, and this is vertical, right? And then the bottom is going to hit that angle, right? And then that's going to go horizontal, right? Then I'm going to do a door. Now the bottom of the door is already on the bottom of the house, but the top of the door has got to hit that angle. And it doesn't matter if it's still below, you know, it's still got to hit that angle, right? So that's 1 point perspective. Okay. 2 point perspective. Let's move on. So 2 point perspective is I have my horizon. And then I have a point here and a point here. Now, long story short, I got a house. Now I got to make the top and bottom of each side of the house go to those angles to reach that point. You have to meet that angle, and then I put in my vertical for the edge of the side of the house. Same thing with the opposite side, right? So let's go a little deeper. You know, it doesn't really matter. The length is, you know, I can bring it all the way to the point if I want, right? But it's still got to meet that angle. Okay. Okay. And we throw in the door. All right. Now, those aren't very vertical, but they don't have to be. Okay. If you're doing something that's just going to be geometrically off, you know, you want to be a little abstract or whatever, you know, play around with that, right? But you have to have the horizontals go to those points, and the verticals you can do whatever. Okay, so that's 2-point perspective. 2-point perspective. Okay, so now let's just say throwing in a tree, right? So it makes it really interesting, you know. So a tree, it's still going to have some form of perspective if I want it to have 3-dimensionality, okay? And you just kind of make light reference lines, right, to make that dimensionality, okay, to give that perspective, right? You know, because basically everything from center of your horizontal will be wider, and as it goes to those 2-point perspectives, it starts getting more narrow, okay? You throw in some shading, right? Just to add for some dimensionality, you know, and all that good stuff. All right. So basically, there you have it. Line contour drawing. Good stuff. Contour drawing. 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, right? And then you have lighting and shading, right? So that's all for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. On the next illustration video, we'll get more involved with you know, doing some realism, right? Where we bring all of this, that's you know, all the lighting and shading together in a more advanced level, right? Let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about real fast. Okay, so now I don't have the photo reference for this, but here I was drawing from a magazine, right? And the photo reference was about twice the size of this square here. So this focal lens, you know, like I said, it magnifies down to the pixel. So I just brought it down to the photo reference. And you know, when you look at eyeballs, right, from a photo, there's always going to be a reflection. Well, in the photo reference, you know, with this lens, I could see the photographer. So I made indications of the photographer's silhouette in the lens, right? And then I can get down into the hairs more and more detail and everything like that because it was such a small photo reference, right? I just really like the monkey, you know, that's why I drew it. Okay. So that's why this is an awesome tool to have, right? Here, there's a baby monkey, okay? I like monkeys. It's my thing. What can I tell you? All right. So here I use a color photo to transfer it to a black and white grayscale. It's not an easy thing to do. It takes training of the eye, you know. But when you get to that point, you know, it becomes a much deeper challenge. Okay. And once again, I used the magnifying lens, looked at the eyes. I could see the landscape. You know, I could see the photographer. So I put the silhouettes in there, right? And then I can get really into the detail, you know, the cracks of the flesh of the baby monkey and everything like that, right? Okay. I'll close this up here. So, the Smithsonian Natural History Encyclopedia. This is by far one of the greatest source reference books I own, right? I highly recommend any artist getting this book, okay? It has basically almost everything that's on the planet, right? Rocks and minerals, okay? Bugs, mushrooms, plants, flowers, you know, scorpions, fish, sharks, seashells. You know, if it's on the planet Earth, it's probably going to be in this book. You know, tons of birds, tons and tons of birds, right? Whales, you know, African wildlife, cats, just everything in here. Everything's in here. You know, next time we're going to work on the koala, okay? That's what I'm going to be showing how to illustrate. You know, it's great, great image to utilize. You know, it's awesome in grayscale. It's got a lot of variances and tones. You know, work on composition and all that good stuff, right? A couple of things you can have in your own source reference library. Okay. Oh, let me show you this real fast. So, you know, when you're illustrating, it doesn't have to be straight from a, you know, straight from a photo reference, right? So here, okay, everything except the moon just came out of my head. Trees, rocks, the stream, everything. I just started drawing. I just put the pencil to paper and just have at it, right? It took a long time, you know. I just get to it when I felt in the mood, but there you have it, right? You don't have to always have photo reference to draw from, all right, or an object for that matter. So, figure drawing. The figure. This is a great reference source to have. Okay, really breaks down proportions. You know, from how to draw kids to adults. You know, males and females, action poses, all that good stuff. This is a great source reference book to have. Right. Drawing lessons from the masters. Has over 24 works from illustrators. You know, from way back from Michelangelo to Da Vinci, all the way to modern illustrators, right? It's got points and tips, you know, things to look for when you're illustrating. This is an awesome source reference material to have. Okay, something I kept from art school, you know, was my handouts. So, you know, just went over human anatomy. You know, I used to know all this stuff by heart, but you know, it's very important to know for the, when you're doing human figure drawing. You know, what is the musculature? What is the skeletal system, right? When you're doing action poses and everything, you want to know how to draw those if you're really trying to draw from life, you know, onto the paper, right? So that's it for now. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you all had fun. And you know, just keep drawing, keep playing with that. You know, once again, check me out on Instagram at Smitty Art Explorations. And if you know you are able to donate to this series, it is greatly appreciated. Absolutely not necessary, but if you can, Cash App, profile $SMITICE. It's $Smidice. I really hope you enjoy these series. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm happy to take critiques. What it is that I could do better. What it is that you like. Feel free to just comment and let me know what you think. Well, y'all have a good night. Be safe out there. Stay healthy, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.